This is Jay Horwitz with a very special edition of Amazing Conversations with three key members of the 1973 NL Championship Mets: Cleon Jones, the left fielder; Ron Hodges, the catcher; and Félix Millán, second base. Thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it. Guys, let me start with Mookie's at bat in the '86 World Series is probably regarded as the best at bat in Mets history. The ball on the wall play is probably the most single. No play's got more attention than that. Let me take it back. September 20th, 1973, top of the 13th inning. The Mets and Pirates are tied. They're tied. Um, Dave Augustine hits a ball over Cleon's head. Richie Zisk is trying to score. Clay, what did you think? What do you remember about the play?
What I remember about the play is that when the ball was hit, I realized I had no chance of making the catch. So I stopped in front of the wall just on the edge of the grass, hoping for a carm off the wall to get the ball back in the infield as quickly as possible. But never realizing that the ball would hit the top of the wall and come back on the fly to me. When it came back on the fly, I was able to turn and relay the ball back to Garrett. I think Garrett was playing shortstop that day. Yeah, Garrett. And Garrett made a perfect throw to home and it saved the ball game for us.
Ron, what did you think from the catcher's position as the play was unfolding? What did you think? Any chance at all of getting them thrown out of home plate?
It's always the chance. I think we executed perfect defense there when Cleon grabbed the ball off the wall, whipped the throw to Garrett, and Garrett threw a one-hopper to me at the plate. All I had to do was catch the ball, hold on to the ball, and allow the runner to slow into it.
Felix, you were on the field. What were your thoughts as you saw the play unfolding? What did you think?
Well, I thought, as soon as Cleo threw the ball to Wayne, I'm happy that Wayne has a better arm that I have, and he threw the ball a lot better to Ronnie.
And then in the bottom of the inning, Ron, you came up with the bases loaded, got a key hit. We win the game 4-3. After that game, did you guys think that maybe the stars were aligned perfectly for us? I mean, how often does the ball stand on top of a fence and fall back into the field instead of falling over for a home run? What did you guys think?
Well, personally, I think that the league kind of waited around for us. We had a lot of injuries that year, a lot of ins and out with our lineups, pitching staff, and that finally we were getting healthy, and we were still in the running, and we was right at just below 500 at that period, I think. So then after that play, we were rejuvenated as a team because we knew we had a chance to win the pennant. And suddenly that one play kept us in the ball game.
One of the most remarkable meetings took place in July. I think we were like 11 games below 500, and it was a famous clubhouse meeting where Tug McGraw yelled out, "You got to believe," and it didn't take effect right away. Do you guys remember anything? Did that saying have any effect, or is it revisionist history? I mean, what effect did what Tug said have on how you guys played out the rest of the year?
Well, I can say that I knew we had a good ball club to finish first. Well, after the meeting, the guys and Tug, everybody was hoping that we start doing good because we weren't doing the way it's supposed to be because we had a better club than the other guys.
What way I saw it is that M. Donald Grant, that's the meeting that he came into the clubhouse. Right. And, gave us a pep talk and, tried to lift us up and whatnot. And Tug being Tug, Donald Grant was trying to pump us up, and Tug just shouted it at the end of the meeting, "You got to believe," and everybody thought that was quite comical at that time, and we all laughed and joked around after that. But that stayed with the ball club. You got to believe, and certainly, if you're going to win, you got to believe in each other. You got to believe in each other as a team. So it's great to believe, but when you got Seaver and Matlack that's going to be towing the mound, and other guys that were getting healthy, it looked like we were going to be the team that we set out to be in spring training.
Ron, do you remember anything about the meeting at all?
Well, I was a rookie that year, if you remember, Jay, and when Mr. Grant had that meeting, we all figured, well, he's going to clean house. Everybody's going to be gone. But somewhere in the meeting, Mr. Grant had just continued to pound the word. You got to believe. You got to believe in yourself. You got to have confidence. And I think when Tug felt that urge, and he almost hit his head on the ceiling with that, yeah, you got to believe. I believe. Do you believe? And he was running around to all the other players saying, do you believe? And I'm going, yeah, man, I believe.
Ed Craigpool told me a story, guys. I guess Tug and he were roommates, that he was afraid that Mr. Grant thought that Tug was mocking him. So I think he went to McGraw and told him, I'm not mocking you. Was that part of what history true that the owner might have thought that Tug was mocking him in a way?
I think so. I think Mr. Grant thought that Tug was mocking him, but no, he just wanted to pep us up and trying to make the guys get ready to play the next game.
I'm just getting some records. On August 5th, the Mets were 48-60, like 12 games out of first place, and they go like 34-19 the rest of the way, win the pennant the last day in Chicago. Was it because of injuries or because other teams were winning? And that's a remarkable turnaround in a pretty short period of time. It's just a crazy pennant race.
Well, it was a crazy race because that wasn't a dominant team. As you look back, there's a lot of talent on all of those teams, Cardinals and Pittsburgh, you name it, Chicago. But everybody was struggling in our division around below 500. So that gave 3 or 4 teams a chance to win the pennant. And suddenly, when we got healthy, we seemed like we were going to be the recipient of that, and that's what happened.
Well, I think we just leaned very heavily on our dominant pitching staff, our great defense, and our timely hitting. Cleon, Rusty got hot with the bats. We just played with confidence, with that you got to believe attitude that, hey man, we're going to win this thing, and we did.
So we go into the playoffs. 5 games, we beat the Reds in 5 games, getting ready to face Oakland in the series. And we had one of the games against Cincinnati. It's another big part of Mets lore was when Buddy and Pete Rose got to a fight at second base and the bench is empty. What do you recall about that fight?
I think that was good for the team because we were very aggressive, and that's what a team needs to win some games. And I know after the Rose and Buddy things starting hitting up, I was behind first base because remember I have to go behind first in case of a bad throw, and I didn't get a chance to do or see too much of the arguments.
When you start about thinking about team brawls and things of that nature, You know, if you go back to '69, you can understand why Don Cotwell would retaliate. You know, he's a brawler. He was a brawler. But when you think in terms of Buddy and Pete, and they were friends. You know, they talked quite a bit and interacted quite a bit, and that just shows you the heat of the game. The heat of the game, anything can take place, and uh, Buddy just got ticked off because Pete would be in Pete. You know, he slid into second base hard and heavy, trying to make things happen, and tempers flared. Uh, I, you know, I'm right there in left field, so when I run in and everybody's standing around, but mostly people are trying to break the thing up. You know, mostly sometimes teams just get out after each other. You know, one guy one after another because of something that happened 2 years ago, and you get a big brawl. But everybody was in the process of trying to break up Pete. But I remember Pedro Barbone. He was a pitcher on that staff, and he got really upset, and he started eating on his hat. And, and so everybody had to contain him. But that was the only other part of that scenario that was quite comical for me.
Ron, you know, in '73, your rookie season, you're fortunate enough to catch Seaver, Kuzman, and Matlock that year. You compare with Jerry Grody, the catching tin. How was it as a catcher to catch those pitchers, you know, throughout the year?
Well, my first game was catching Seaver, and Yogi told me, he said, "Hey, don't worry about what pitches to call because Seaver's going to call his own game." And he would he'd say, "You put down a sign, and if I don't pitch, put down another sign." So he didn't shake off, you know. He just stare you off. And you know, he had that dominant fastball inside, right on the belt, right on the hands. Sawed off a whole lot of bats. Made Rube Walker very, very happy. Every time he'd break a bat, he'd start to cack.
How about the difference between Kuzman and Matlock? I mean, how different kind of pitchers with Tom?
Yeah, they were different. Left-handers, big, strong fastball pitchers. You know, we lived and died with that fastball, and except for Tug. Of course, Tug came out throwing the screwball. You know, that was his strength, and you know, they were just getting the job done for us.
Yeah, they did more than that. So World Series, unfortunately, you know, we lose in 7 games. In game 4 and 5, we won. I think we gave with Matlock and Kuzman gave up 1 run in 18 innings. Go out to Oakland ahead 3-2. Then there's a big discrepancy. Pitcher Tom on short rest. Pitcher George Stone. And then unfortunately we lose 2 tight games out there. How disappointing was it? We held Oakland to 1 run in 18 innings going west, and we lose both games out there. After 50 years, did it still hurt not winning that championship?
Well, I think, we put, everybody asked me, why do you or Yogi put Silver to pitching and didn't put George Stone? But you say, you got to go with your big gun. And Silver was the big gun right there. And I think we had the best pitching staff in the National League, and you had to put the guy because he was the winner.
What do you guys think?
Well, what I think about it is that during that process, we a couple of us talked to Yogi about trying to rest Seaver another day to go with George Stone because he had been real effective down the stretch for us, and he hadn't pitched an inning. So we say if we gave George a chance in the 6th ball game, even if we don't win that ball game, we got arrested Seaver, we got Matlack, we got Tug, we got guys we can throw at these people that don't have to concentrate on going 9 innings, they can concentrate on going 5 innings and get through that, and we're still throwing our best at them, but we're throwing our best, but we're not giving them giving them the ball and say, go give me a complete game, go give me all you got, and let's double up on them, and we can beat them.
Right. What were your thoughts on the pitching? Going out and not winning after being ahead 3-2.
Well, obviously, you go into every ball game, whether it's the World Series, the playoffs, or anything, expecting to win, wanting to win. So it was quite disappointing. And I'm like Cleon. I think George Stone had a great year for us. Won 12 ball games, lost 3. And he didn't have the fastball that the rest of those guys had, but he did have the heart, and he got people out. It could have changed, but that's hindsight. What happened in the series happened, and we all have to live with it.
I want to talk about 2 guys from the team. I'm being honest. My idol growing up was Willie Mays. I adored Willie Mays. I was a Giant fan. I worshiped Willie Mays. I was one of the things I was proudest of, and Cleon was a part of the committee. We retired his number a year ago. What kind of he didn't really hit that much when he was with us, but I think he won 1 World Series game. How was it to play with Willie Mays as his teammate? This is 50 years that he retired in September, so it's 50 years he's out of the game. What was it like to have Willie Mays on the '73 team?
I think he was an inspiration for all of us. He was a great ball player, and beside him playing, I think he was great. I think Willie, one of the best players in the major leagues. I was happy for him to be there.
Yeah, when Willie, the trade was made for Willie, and I was thankful for that, because he was always my favorite player. And I'm from Mobile, Alabama, and Hank Aaron is from Mobile. So they were the 2 top players in the National League at that time. But to me, Willie was probably one of the all-time greats, because he could do everything. He could beat you on the bases. He could beat you on defense, offense. He just did all the little things that most of the players in the league didn't do. I mean, there was a lot of great players, Stan Musial, Hank Aaron, and you can name them. But he could beat you in so many ways. But when he got to be my locker mate. And what a joy that was for me to come in and undress and dress and be able to talk to Willie Mays about all of the great things that he had contributed to baseball. And I thought it was fitting that he came to us in that setting. But what you have to remember is that, he was still a great ball player when he got to the Mets, but he had knee problems, and nobody really knew that. There were times when his knees was so swollen he could hardly walk, and he shouldn't even think about going on the field, but he did it. And I used to tell him, Willie, you don't have to prove anything. You've already proven it. Wait till you're fit to go out on the field. But when he was healthy, and we saw that as Mets during the course of the year, that when he was feeling good, we saw the real Willie Mays and how great he was. And certainly it was an inspiration to me and a joy to have played with him. And I still think Oakland might have been the best team on paper, but I think we should have won the World Series that year. We were just 1 or 2 players away from it, but I'm not going to start calling names and blame and have a blame game. We just have to live with what happened. But I'm thankful to have been a part of that team and having Willie Mays as a locker mate.
Ron Hodges, did you have much byplay with Willie? Even though you're a rookie, did you able to associate with him at all?
I talked with him. Old Herb Norman tried to play a joke on me one time. Willie's locker was across the way from mine, and Herb comes by and he says, Ron, I'm going to tell you something. Willie just loves for people to stare at him. Just sit here and stare at him. I'm sitting there staring away at Willie. And all of a sudden, Willie's skin goes to crawling, and he comes walking across the clubhouse like,
That's
what
funny.
are you staring at? I can remember, too, it seemed like I played a lot on Sundays. You know, Grady didn't want to play on Sundays, and those other guys would play all during the week. So Sundays I'd get to play, and Willie played a lot of Sundays. And he loved to play the game. He just loved to play the game. And we'd go out into the dugout, and when they sang the anthem, we ran out on the field, Willie'd say, it's showtime, kids. Let's go put on a show for these people.
Yeah.
Herb Norman used to play jokes on me. My first year was 80. He had the joke that he must have played the same joke on me like 19 different times. I fell for it all the time. I had to pull something and I got all dirt all over me. Hey, one guy I wanted to touch on before we go with Rusty Staub. Had a great postseason, hit over 400 in the World Series, three home runs, played with a bad show. Tell me what did Rusty mean to you guys in '73?
Well, to me, Rusty was a great hitter, great outfielder. Too bad that in that game he messed up his shoulder, and that was one of the games that we lost because he couldn't throw from the right field, and he threw the ball to me on a base hit, and the ball didn't reach me. And I tried to catch it and dropped it, and I went home, but we didn't have a chance to get the guy.
Yeah, and I keep saying that we had injury problems throughout the year, and we went into the World Series. Felix was hurt, Rusty was hurt, Mays' knees were swollen, so we were an ailing team. And I tell you, the first time in my career that I was afraid. Listen to what I'm saying. I was afraid, not for myself, but I was afraid we weren't going to be able to represent the National League as needed. And I prayed on that, and suddenly we represented. And I say today, whenever I'm having this conversation, that we should have won. And like Felix and Hodges said, we were just one or two plays away from winning it. We should have won the 6-ball game. And I've explained this 100 times since that happened. A fly ball hit. Seaver pitched a tremendous ball game. And we're in the 9th inning. Campaneris got a hit, stole base, and a fly ball hit in the middle of the warning track in the late innings that should have been caught. That ball was caught. We out of the inning. We don't go to extra innings. We win the ball game. It's little things that happen that maybe showed up to baseball people, but we didn't finish, and it was all because of communication. And I'll leave it there.
Our ownership has got a great sense of history, and we want to keep honoring the past like we're doing. And you guys really had a remarkable year to come from 12 games back in August to win the pennant, get to win, go to the 7th game in the World Series. So, I look forward. You'll have some interaction with our fans, and hopefully have a good trip back to New York and a lot of good memories. And you guys accomplished that. Maybe you didn't win the whole thing, but coming where you did to go where you ended up and overcoming all the injuries and stuff to win the pennant last day. It's remarkable. So I just want to thank you guys for your time.
Well, let me just say thank you for bringing us back.
No,
I see Felix quite a bit. Mr. Hodges, I haven't seen in a while. It'd be good to see Mr. Hodges and his family. It's been a while. So it's always great to be around and just talk with teammates about old times. It rejuvenates me. So I need some rejuvenation at this point in my life.
You know what I'm glad about the 73? You guys shouldn't be forgotten. You always celebrate the winner, but we won the pennant, the last day of the season, a remarkable pennant race. You guys should be remembered what you did, and hopefully we get back in September. The fans will appreciate you. Give you another round of applause for what you accomplished that year.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.